Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage, Michelle Patterson.
Nice. Woo! All right. So, what is happening this afternoon? There's some incredible stuff going on. I want to share with you guys. In the Connect stage, we have Forbes Riley. We've got Winn Claybaugh, who's going to be coming up shortly and being on the inspiration stage. And then we've got exhibitors that are going to be actually sharing information. And one of them in particular I wanted to share with you. So State Farm right now at their booth, if you go to their booth, they are giving you journals. And they are setting it up where you can go ahead and put your engraved name and goal and mission of what it is that you're going after. So you're able to sign up via email, go by their booth, and it's 42% of people, when you write your goals down and you write your financial goals down, specifically is what they're covering, that's when you reach your goals. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of this. They're there and ready for you to come by that booth. All right, so who could tell me, what booth did I say? State Farm. I feel like I should be singing the tune. State Farm. So go by State Farm. So I would like to introduce to you Winn Claybaugh. Right? So back by popular demand, somebody that has made a huge impact in my life, and I was sharing this earlier, somebody that I reach out to for support and for guidance. I shared earlier that when the cameras are going, certain people show up a certain way. I always like to look at when the cameras aren't going and it's just the two of us, how does that person show up? Can I call them on a moment's notice? Can I send them a text and say, hey, I need you here? And I shared with you guys earlier is he's leaving on a red eye. He is receiving the Ellis Island Medal of Honor Award tomorrow. So I want to congratulate him and doing a really good job. So take a look at this video, and then we're going to have Winn come on up.
As a speaker, I've never taken it for granted that I have the opportunity to stand on stages all over the world and share my stories and my passion. For me, the best teachers and mentors are storytellers. I love telling not only my stories, but the stories of my mentors and my teachers.
I think I'd be a better spokesperson for Paul Mitchell. I mean, really.
This feels like a basketball. What can I say? The ball head, man.
Many people have said that they think it's almost silly that someone had to write a book on the topic of being nice. But in today's world, I don't believe there's a more important message than this one. I heard it once said that hairdressers and other beauty professionals go to work every single day with the intention of having fun. Now that's the culture I want to be a part of, which is why I love being the co-founder and dean of Paul Mitchell Schools. I'm not a big reader, but I've always been attracted to successful people and their stories. So the way I've always gained that knowledge was to ask questions from my mentors and heroes. Once I decided to add a microphone to the equation, Masters was born so everyone could hear their answers. Because of my upbringing with my wonderful parents, giving back, raising money, and making a difference has always been just as important as putting money into my own pocket. We all have power and influence, and I want to be part of those attractive people who use that influence to give back. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm in the hair business. My good friend CW tells the story that he's in the airport waiting for this delayed flight, and all the passengers are patiently waiting for this delayed flight. except for this one man who for some reason was really upset over this delayed flight, and he was abusing the poor ticketing agent who obviously had no control over why this flight was delayed, but he was loud, mean, and aggressive to this poor woman. So my friend CW comes up to this abusive man and he says, excuse me, sir, but can I have your autograph? And the abusive man stepped back and he said, why do you want my autograph? And CW said, because I've never met the center of the universe before. How many of you can't wait to use that sometime? You know, we're here today to talk about leadership. And my definition of leadership is someone who has influence over another human being. So who here is a leader? And if you didn't raise your hand, you didn't understand the definition. Because all of us have influence over other people. You have influence over total strangers standing in line at Starbucks. Could you make their day? Could you ruin their day? Yeah. So people often ask me, so Winn, your book is called Be Nice or Else. What's the or else part of it mean? And what it means is be nice or live a miserable life. Be nice or be a horrible leader. There's that joke, the man's given a tour of his work facility, and the person asks him, so how many people work here? And the man responded with, oh, about half work here. And the reason why that can sometimes happen is because people aren't engaged. They're engaged with their time. Why? Because they show up for one thing and one thing only, and that is to receive a paycheck. But they're not engaged with their hearts, with their minds, and you better believe we don't get the best performance out of people. You know, when I was in the salon business for a couple of years, this woman who worked for me one day privately pulled me aside. And she said, Winn, I want you to know that for the last 20 years, I have been in a very abusive marriage. But because of working here for the last 2 years, I now have the courage to divorce this man. And I was like, huh? Winn, I've been in this horrible marriage for over 20 years. But for the last 2 years, when I come to work every single day, I feel loved. I feel like I'm making a difference. I feel like I belong here. And because of that, I now have the courage to divorce this man. Let me tell you something. That was a huge wake-up call for me because up until that point, I thought that my only role, my only responsibility as a business leader was to create a place where people come to earn a paycheck. And what she taught me that day was the responsibility that I have, and again, all of us have that same responsibility to create that safe, loving environment for people. See, leadership is not a title. It's not a position. It's an attitude. It's a mindset. So all of us have that same responsibility. And people often ask me, hey, Winn, how can I become a better leader? And sometimes the response is, quit smoking. Join the gym. Fix your marriage. Sign up for a cancer walk. Because without doing those things, we're losing credibility as leaders. Meaning, are you attractive as a leader? We all believe in the law of attraction, that what you put out there comes back to you. And so I have to work on this a lot, because I don't know about you guys, but I can get way too serious. How many of you like this as well? Yeah, we get so serious about stupid stuff, right? And I know that about myself, and so, because that's what I put out there, I got to work on that. And we all talk about having wonderful mentors. Well, for me, mentors can be little kids, right? Because, you know, little kids teach me how to be, you know, silly, a little irresponsible. And I have 90 nieces and nephews. I really do. They all live in Utah. Go figure. By the way, I am the favorite uncle. Duh. Cost me a lot of money, but I'm the favorite uncle. You know, when I'm hanging out with the family, I don't want to sit at the adult table. That's boring to me. I want to sit with the kids. And I'm not sitting with the kids at a fancy restaurant trying to teach them how to be all proper. I'm like, what do you guys want to do? Because my world's way too serious. I put that out there, so I need mentors to teach me how to be, you know, fun and creative, right? Like my daughter, you give her a gift. I have a 5-year-old daughter. Give her a gift. She opens the gift. What does she want to play with? The box, right? Because boxes are cool, right? See, little kids, they play big. We sometimes play small. Michelle yesterday was talking about how we just have to show up. People want the awards, they want the accolades, they want the money, but people don't even show up for that, right? we play small. No, they don't need me. I'm not going to volunteer. I'm not going to show up. We play small. Little kids, they play big. Like they have their little action figurines. Like, look, I'm Superman. I'm Batgirl. They're not like, I'm Loser Man. I'll never amount to much, man. And some of you have that exact same dialogue about yourself. And that's what you put out there as a leader, that lack of confidence, right? Yeah, this attitude, well, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. What a silly idea. But by the way, you might be right. Because sometimes you're so unapproachable, you're such a jerk as a leader that nobody wants to help you out. So you're right, you do have to do things by yourself. And you know what? You may not be a jerk as a leader, but people think that you are. And you have to own that. And why do people think that about you? Well, because you're so serious all the time, right? You never leave your office. You never show love and appreciation and gratitude to the people that you work with, which, by the way, is a basic human need. It's right up there with oxygen. We all need to feel that appreciation on a daily basis. And again, I can get that way as well. I think it's a bad habit that some people have. I mean, talking about what we put out there, some people have this attitude that, you ask them how they're doing. I'm really tired. How you doing? I'm tired. I'm so tired. That's their standard response. Come on, how many of you do this? It's a really bad habit. Because if that's how you always respond, I'm really tired, how are you going to feel every day? Yeah, big surprise. Like if you wake up in the morning and the first thought out of your head is, wow, why am I so tired this morning? And that's the first question you ask yourself. Within a minute, you will have the answer. Do you know why? Your brain is the most powerful search engine for you. You ask a question, it will immediately find the answer. Why am I so tired? Well, you're tired because of this, this, and this. Yeah. Why am I so stupid? Well, you're stupid because of this, this, and this. Meaning, when you ask a bad question, what do you get back? Okay, first of all, how many of you talk to yourself? Yeah, and those that didn't raise their hand are thinking, no, I never talk to myself. We all talk to ourselves. And I don't know about you guys. For me, it's not just one voice. Oh, there's a whole committee up here. You're really awesome. No, you're not. Yeah, what are you putting out there? See, I love the culture in our Paul Mitchell schools because we find any excuse to throw a party in our Paul Mitchell schools. Because in some companies, in some businesses, if you're laughing or having fun at work, what does that mean? You're not working. Back to work. No fun around here. Can you imagine? Yeah, and study after study proves that when a team of people are laughing with each other, having fun with each other, what happens to creativity? Goes up. What happens to teamwork? Goes up. What happens to profits? Goes up. What happens to absenteeism? It diminishes. So we work on creating that fun environment for each other as well. One of our leadership golden rules is always be in a great mood, fake it when necessary. A good friend of mine says that there's two reasons why he will fire an employee from his company. The first reason is if they steal from him. The second reason is if they show up to work in a bad mood. He will fire them on the spot. Now, he will rehire them 5 minutes later if they leave and come back in a good mood. But I want to propose that the day each one of you decided to enter the workforce, on that day, you gave up the right to ever come to work in a bad mood. You gave up that right. And on those days when you don't feel like it, what do? You fake it. I remember once asking my employee, Lois, how you doing, Lois? She's like, I'm faking it. All day long. Nobody had any idea that Lois was not having a good day. There are some people, they can have this much of a bad day, and everybody knows about it. We always bring our school leaders together on a regular basis, and we always bring in wonderful speakers to share information with them. A couple of years ago, we brought in this speaker by the name of Sister Bonnie, a Catholic nun who decided to become a hairdresser as a nun so that she could do hair for the homeless. So get this. She gets permission from the Catholic Church to enroll in beauty school, graduates, and then opens up her salon, which she named the Pearly Gates Salon. It was located in a tiny bathroom of a shower facility for the homeless in downtown Cincinnati. I flew out there and spent a couple of days with Sister Bonnie. She showed me this little tiny bathroom where she cut hair for 7 years and did 10,000 homeless people. And she said to me, Winn, I am the only Catholic nun that can say I've been in the bathroom with 10,000 men and they all came out smiling. And then she said, my clients happen to be homeless, so of course they don't pay me anything for my services. Maybe your clients are paying you $10 or thousands of dollars, but they're homeless on the inside. Hearing her story reminded me of an experiment that I read about that happened in the early 1900s in an orphanage, where they divided the infants into two different groups. The first group of infants, they fed them and clothed them, and that was it. Second group of infants, they fed them, clothed them, touched them, cradled them, read to them, sang to them. And they tried to reverse the process because in some cases, some of the infants in the first group actually turned their face to the wall and died of a disease called marasma. All marasma means is a lack of touch. People can die from that. You know, I'm not a hairdresser. I have a feeling that a lot of you aren't hairdressers. You know, I don't have that license that gives me permission to actually touch people. But it doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you sell, doesn't matter your role, your position, all of us touch people on so many different levels. Never underestimate the power of what it is that we all do. Thank you, everybody.